we are on to our third architect, and we've got Sujata Shankar, who, like a lot of the architects that feature tonight, is a product of the School of Architecture and Planning, Chennai. She did her master's from the University of Minnesota. It's been almost 2 decades since she began her own practice, and she's done a variety of projects. She's passionate about heritage, and she's the convener of INTAC Chennai chapter, also the vice chairperson of the Indian Institute of Architects at the Chennai Center. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you Sujata Shankar.
Art becomes an impression of life. If cave paintings depicted life of the times, so has every era in history. Man's artistic creations speak powerfully of a world that existed, portraying multiple facets of life as it was. Art reflects life, art mirrors life, it stimulates life, it copies life, and it imitates life. The language of expression varies, and it is not always realistic representation. Abstraction is an interpretation of the reality of the world around us. Strung together, all of art is a vivid and continuous story of civilizations. In my journey of creating spaces, which in a way itself is a setting for the life to unfold, art finds its delineation as elements drawn from life, be it flowers and leaves, birds and butterflies. I'd like to share 2 of our projects where architecture draws inspiration from its setting. Call it site, call it nature or life. One is a cube in a meadow. The other, a house in the hills, earth hugging and integral with nature. The brilliant plume in abstraction not only relates to the peacock in form and color, but also to its Indianness. The purple and green plant, like 2 sides of a coin, became the seed for a corporate office design. Inspired by the ocean are pure abstractions in blue and green. Structures in the natural world are embodiments of superior systems of both beauty and functionality. The beehive, spider's web, the bird's nest are employed in architectural design. Flowers and trees have been emulated too in a case of architecture imitating life. A visionary of sorts, Da Vinci didn't invent any of the things here, but he drew them. His ideas were a continuing dance between science and fiction, one simulating the other, ideas waiting to happen. So, life imitates art. Life and art are layers that enhance each other in a symbiotic relationship where the parts combine to create a far greater cohesive whole. Thank you. The house that we did for Mr. Maniratnam and his family in Kodaikanal, up in the hills, was really quite a challenging one because the site had contours which were going eastward, downward, but the views were in the exact opposite direction. And the solution that we came up with was, an arrangement of staggered spaces going down, hugging the contours along the slope, but at the same time staggered in a manner that we could open up the views from each of the spaces and they could have a lovely view of the trees. And we had this sun room and a conservatory which became the sunlit core of the house.
We're on to one of the taller architects of the evening, W. Anand, who graduated from the School of Architecture and Planning, Anna University, and went on to do his master's at the SBA in Delhi. And he has over 500 projects under his belt. His firm was set up in 1989, and it has won many honors and awards for their works. Anand's portfolio ranges from single residences to multiple houses to IT parks and shopping malls, come multiplexes, beach houses, hospitals, institutions, commercial spaces. Incidentally, I believe he's also the charter chairman of the Indian Institute of Architects Chennai chapter. So, ladies and gentlemen, W. Anand.
My presentation today will be art in built form and open spaces that surround and encompass them. Commerce has a huge influence on humanity and life on the whole. Travel to me has been an integral part of my life, and learning from travel has never ended. The architectural innovation of Pompeii, seen in the villas, temple of Jupiter, and the walls of their built spaces of commerce, reflect the economic opportunity and the lifestyle of those times. The bath at Pompeii had hot and cold springs, with fresco work showing the life of the riches. It is only through the art and architecture unearthed that one understands the life of times of Pompeii. To me, Pompeii is all about art imitating life. Marrakesh, Jama El Fana, is like the canvas which gets painted every evening as life sets in. The various art forms, culinary, dance, music, trade, come together at sunset. I see 1,000 years art in motion, which is dynamic and full of action. The wealthiest trading centers during the Renaissance, Venice, was created over a lagoon. Marble and stone palaces rise out of water. The city of Venice comes to life as sun sets. One can see cafes, bars, and fine dining along the waterways which light up. Music is in the air. Art takes its inspiration from life in every nook and corner of this magical city. Chennai is a true example of how art in the form of built and open spaces imitates life or represents the society we live in. And this is how I see Chennai. I call Chennai Ruben City, neither rural nor urban. From the share auto to the luxury sedans, the graffiti on the compound walls, and the sea of human at the airport waiting to send off near and dear ones, Chennai is distinct. The architecture, culinary art, automobile, and the people depict life of Chennaites. Chiang Mai, a moment of peace when I let go of the lantern. Over 1,000 monks chanting, and hundreds of thousands of lanterns go into the sky. I realized art in spirituality. Thank you.
With housing demand increasing substantially, we find getting the quality of workmanship in projects, in large projects, very, very difficult. So we have gone in for a complete concrete building where we used aluminum formwork and doing a 15-story building. The building is ready and people have started moving in. And this is using a Maiwan formwork, aluminum formwork. The uniqueness is it's got the pedestrians areas are totally segregated from the driveways, so the pedestrians don't actually get into those driveway areas.
We are on to our final architect. He's L. Venkatesh. He represents the third generation of C.R. Narayana Rao architects and engineers. He studied architecture at the erstwhile University of Roorkee and returned to the firm after completing his master's at Iowa State in the US. With 23 years of experience, Venkatesh has designed and executed a plethora of projects, be it offices, hospitals, or auditoria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you L. Venkatesh, Director at CRN Rao Architects.
My relationship with art has been kind of dicey. It's been a very dark relationship, and it's mostly been a disaster, or as we say here, yen in the Kohler vary. And part of this has been because of the way I was taught art, but it can also be heroic. When you look at the Mehrangarh fort, painting is just magnificent. You have Ganesha, you have Brahma, you have Shiva, you have Vishnu, and the king leading all of them into his fort. It's really a masterpiece, a master class in art and religion. I always try to make my service buildings, I spend a lot of time on the substations that I designed to make it look beautiful. This is the data center of Google. I mean, it looks so pretty. And this is like a magical picture that one morning I looked up and I kind of always get inspired by this. In the Western Ghats, the mist was rising and the sun was against me, but still somehow it was reflecting off the magically of the areca nuts. And I find this very, very peaceful and sublime. You really can't imitate nature. That's the flame of the forest. And you can never get that color exactly, however hard you try to do it. And this is a project very close to my heart. So the client had a budget of 3 lakhs to do a mural. So I got hold of a Gond artist from Bhopal to come and do it. It's come out really nice. So this is something very close to me. Personally, I need to work a lot. I need to work really hard with art. But I know that it works because at some point you have to internalize it. Some people are able to do it very quickly. Some people take time. It's got to come from within. There are a lot of projects that really tug my heart, but the one that we've done recently is a workers' canteen. And I say that because it's a little island north of Chennai, and it's a shipyard. And you know, ship making is a brutal job. The workers are working under terrible conditions, and we had to create a canteen for them. And that's a project that is very close to my heart because we try to completely dematerialize the building. We try to remove columns. We try to create as much openness as possible. So the workers, when they come for their lunch, they are far away from that claustrophobic feeling that they have when they're actually constructing the ship.